Biblically Centered Kids.
Hello and happy Sunday to you. Today is Sunday, February 4th, 2024. And we are starting right into a new week. Can you believe it? My name is Mr. Johnny, and I am super happy to be here with you today on this Sunday. Who's ready for another week of school tomorrow? Well, that was awfully silent. Surely some of you out there are excited for school tomorrow. Okay, there you are. See, I knew you guys were out there. I knew you guys are excited for school. All right, so let's talk a little bit about history. Okay, today, like I said, is February 4th, so we got a little trivia for you. All right, on this day in 1789, George Washington, you guys know his name, right? He was our first U.S. president. All right, so in 1789, he was elected to serve as the first United States president by a unanimous vote in the first electoral college. All right, and then let's see, on this day in 1913, Rosa Parks was born. If you haven't learned about her yet, she was an American civil rights activist and did a lot of good. And then in 1932, the United States hosted its first Winter Olympic Games in Lake Placid, New York. Now, I don't know about you, but my family, we really love the Olympics. And this summer, we have the Summer Olympics starting, which is always very exciting for us. We always make a point to watch our favorite games. But what about you? Have you seen many of the Olympics? What do you prefer? Do you like the summer games or the winter games better? Maybe ask your parents what their favorite ones are. And if you've never seen the Olympics, I would encourage you to maybe see if you can find a way to watch them this summer. It's a great competition. A lot of the nations all around the world come together into one competition and compete in all sorts of different categories, from volleyball to gymnastics. In the Winter Olympics, they do ice skating, but it's a lot of fun. You watch people jump off diving boards that are way, 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 way high in the air and do flips and flips and flips and flips and flips and into the water. It's a lot of fun. Trust me. All right, but enough about the Olympics. Let's get into what we're doing today. Today, we're doing our Sunday draw along. So if you haven't already, please get yourself a piece of paper and then your favorite pencil or pen or crayons or colored pencil. Whatever you like to draw with, go ahead and get that now because we're going to do a fun draw along together. Okay, do you have your paper? I do. I have my paper and I have my favorite pen with me. Today we're going to do a drawing of Daniel in the lion's den. Do you remember that that's the story that we read this week from the Old Testament? Well, we're about to bring this story to life on paper. So I'm going to do my best, okay, to describe what I'm drawing as we go along. But remember, this is art. It's okay if it's not perfect. We just want to have fun in the process, and you can add your own little creative touches along the way. It doesn't have to look just like mine. And in a lot of circumstances, it's probably even better if it doesn't look like mine. I don't call myself an artist, but I do like to draw. All right, so feel free to be creative and just have fun with it. All right, so first we're going to start by drawing Daniel. And I'm going to put Daniel just right in the middle of my paper, okay? So first, I'm just going to draw his face. And I like to think that Daniel had a beard, okay? So I'm going to draw almost like a semicircle, okay? So that's just like, imagine a circle, but then just cut it in half and just draw half of a circle. Okay, going down. All right, so we're going to make that his face. Now, like I said, he has a beard. So on the outside of the circle, I'm just going to draw some squiggly lines that kind of make a beard all the way down and then all the way back up, okay? And then he also needs some hair on his head. And I would assume that maybe he kind of had shaggy hair. Who knows? You can draw his hair however you want. But I'm going to draw some shaggy hair on the top of his head going across the semicircle. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Oh, kind of looks curly, but we'll go with it. Okay, now in the middle of your semicircle, we're going to draw his eyes and his nose. Okay, so two eyes where two eyes go. And then a nose underneath that. I just draw a U for a nose. And then in his beard, which should be underneath his nose, just draw a little smile in his beard. All right, so that's his face. Are we missing anything? Oh, I know. We need some ears. On the outside of his beard, just draw 2 little half circles on the outside of his beard for his ears. All right, does it look like a face? If not, that's okay. We can always do it again sometime, or maybe even after this is over, you can start over and try doing it on your own. All right, but we got his head. Okay, so now we're going to draw, I like to think that he's wearing kind of like a robe. So on his beard, I'm going to draw 2 lines coming straight down. So if you imagine, look at where you put his eyes, and then go follow the eyes all the way down to his beard. And at the bottom of his beard, start with a line coming down. And then on the other eyeball, do another line coming down. About the length of an entire body, what you would think an entire body is. Okay, now I'm going to draw some arms coming down. Okay, so I'm just going to do arms coming down. Make the little cuffs for his sleeves. All right, back up, and then I'm going to finish his robe. Actually, I'm going to draw his hands. So for his hands, you know, you can draw a little circle if you want coming out of his sleeves. I'll just draw a circle with a little tiny one for his thumb on both sleeves for his hands. All right, and then I'll connect the robe at the bottom. Okay, so it should kind of look like he has a robe on either side of him. Okay, and then we can draw little feet coming out of the bottom. And then, let's see. He's got maybe some sort of shirt on underneath or something. So I'll just draw some lines there to make a little pattern for his shirt. And there's Daniel standing right in the middle of our page. How does yours look? Do you like the way he looks? Is there anything you would do different? Anything you would change? That's something I like to do when I draw something, is if I draw it and I look at it, I'm like, something seems off. Then I'll do, okay, next time I'll draw this a little bit different. I'll draw his arm a little bit different. Maybe his arm needs to be a little bit longer or shorter. You can learn a lot as you draw. Okay, so we got Daniel in the middle. So now let's see. We can draw a lion. Okay, so I'm going to draw a lion kind of standing to the right of Daniel. Okay, so first we're going to start by drawing the head. Okay, so for the head, I just draw a U shape with the middle part slightly wider. And then I connect the end points of my U with a wavy line. You can kind of imagine that's kind of like the part of his mane, okay? So now in the middle of his face, I'm going to draw a triangle shape with rounded edges for the nose. All right, then a few curved lines are next. 2 above the nose and 2 below. So on the edges of your triangle nose, you draw 2 lines coming up, and that kind of makes his eyebrows. And then in the center of the bottom of his nose, 2 lines coming out to make where his whiskers are going to be. All right, now you can draw his eyes, and then under the nose, a few dots where his whiskers are. All right, now next comes the mane. Draw a wavy circle around the head. All right, wavy circle around the head for his mane. Okay. Now you can draw the ears inside the mane. Just kind of where you think ears would be right there. Do little half circles. Okay. Now we're going to start drawing the body. Okay, so from the bottom of his mane, kind of draw 2 curved lines coming out opposite of each other to kind of make his body shape. All right, and now the front legs. So at the base of the curved line, I'll just draw 3 little knuckles for his paws coming out of each one, and then curving back up to make that. And then in between the 2, I'll do a little curved line for the base of his tummy there. And then the back leg. So he's kind of like he's sitting. So we're going to have back legs coming out of his side. All right, I'll draw his little feet on his legs. And then I'll draw a little tail behind him, just however you want his tail coming out from behind him, just a little bit. So I'll draw 2 lines for the tail, and then I'll make the little tip of his tail. Okay, so how does your lion look? Does he look like a lion to you? Does he look kind of silly? Kind of describing how to draw his legs is a little tricky. But mine kind of looks like he's sitting, almost like a frog. All right, and you don't have to do it now, but we'll probably make one other line just so there's more than one line in the picture. So you can do, copy the line you just drew next to him, or if you think you can even draw one maybe standing or in a different position, you can do that too. And feel free to maybe put a rock underneath one of the lions that you have. Like, have you ever seen a lion at the zoo before? They're able to climb all over the place. You can even draw one sitting next to Daniel, but I like to make them look friendly. All right, so now I'm going to draw the den, okay? Okay, so he's in a den, so I like to think of that as kind of like a cave area, okay? So I'm going to draw like a big half circle behind, which is kind of like the entrance to a cave, okay? And either now or later you can kind of color it in to make it look dark, like you're stepping into a dark cave. Okay, and then we can kind of draw rocks all around. So for rocks, I just kind of make almost like you're making a circle, but they're kind of jagged, so they're not perfect circles, okay? Kind of jagged rocks. You can kind of draw some lines on them. Kind of put a few next to each other, a few behind each other. Just kind of all over. A few rocks there, a few rocks there. Okay, I guess I'm going to draw this line sitting on a big rock, like he's the king. Okay, now the Bible says that this took place overnight. So you can kind of make the den look dark if you want to. Maybe add some shadows on the edge of your paper, like in all the corners. I'll just kind of get my pen and just draw some shadows up there. Just kind of make it look like it's dark. Okay, you drawing shadows on each corner, kind of all over. You can kind of do whatever you want. Just how do you think you would make it look dark? Okay, now we're looking at our picture, okay? So I like my picture. I got Daniel in the middle. I got a cave entrance behind him. Got some lions next to him. Got one of them sitting on a rock. Are there any details we're missing? Maybe take a few moments here and maybe draw some details. I'm going to add some whiskers to my line. I didn't do that before. Okay. What do you think? Do you think yours is ready to color in? So whenever this episode is over, feel free to take some minutes and color in your picture. And feel free to be creative with it. All right, great job, artists. You've just created an awesome picture of Daniel and the lion's den. Okay, now there's a little secret ingredient you can add to your artwork, which is self-control. Okay, that's sort of confusing, isn't it? I mean, how exactly do you draw self-control in a picture? So this is another area in which you can be a little creative with it. We told the story this week of Daniel and how he used self-control, so I think I'm going to draw just a big S right in the middle of his chest. If you've ever seen the Superman logo, you can draw maybe kind of like a triangle shape around the S to kind of make it look like a superhero emblem. If you want, that's what I'm doing. You don't have to do that. But it kind of makes him look like a superhero a little bit. And so that just reminds me when I look at this to know that the S stands for self-control, and that self-control is a gift from God. So feel free to leave that out if you want, but it's a little creative touch you can add. And just like Daniel showed incredible self-control when he was faced with Darius's law, we can use self-control in our own adventures. When we draw, anytime you face a challenge, maybe you're interacting with your friends and you need to use self-control, we can always remember the virtue of self-control. It's kind of like having our own little superpower that helps us make good choices, just like Daniel did. So I want to encourage you just to keep drawing, keep creating. And as you face the different lions in your life, maybe it's a challenging drawing, maybe it's a tricky situation, remember to listen to the Holy Spirit and to use your self-control superpower. All right, well, thank you for joining us on our Draw Along adventure. Another little fun tidbit, if you have a good joke, a funny, appropriate joke, feel free to record yourself in your parents' phone or in some way that you can record, just any audio, a funny joke that you have, and then you can email it to us at info@biblicallycentered.com, and then sometime in the future we can feature your joke in a future episode. That'd be a lot of fun. We're going to start that next week, okay? So like I said, record your joke and then email the file to info@biblicallycentered.com, and we'll feature your joke sometime in a future episode. All right. Get some good rest. Get ready for another fun week, and we'll see you next time.